Okay, guys. So I've actually been on a bit of a journey this evening. I was actually doing some research, and I'm going to actually be going back and doing some further research. Now, for those of you guys who are a part of my private community, I know that I just made a post inside the private community and told you guys that I was getting ready to go live. And I know that normally when I do that, it's just for you guys. But I decided to do this publicly because this will be for you and this will be for them. However, sorry, had to go ahead and start another destination. So once again, for those of you guys who are inside my private community, and I just made an announcement that you guys, or that I'm about to go live. I know that that's normally when I do private lives for you guys in my private community. However, I was going to do that, but I decided to go ahead and just release this one publicly because I feel as though it could serve many others as well. So I was actually going back over some videos, and well, not today's, as I'm watching that. Where did it go? Yes. Here is a dream that I released on April the 12th. Is that right? No, that's not the one. Sorry. It was, where is it? Here it is. April the 4th. So I'm going to release for you a dream. A prophetic broadcast that I did on April the 4th of 2025. And you guys are going to see the fulfillment in a way that I actually never saw before. Because, well, I haven't really been doing what I decided I'm going to start doing. And that is building a historical account of these prophetic words and these prophetic dreams. So let me take you to this video. Once again, this was on April the 4th, okay? And in this dream, I had shared basically on April the 4th, I want you to hear this. Ready? Because of a news event. Whoops, that's not it. The second thing, this is actually the day that I released the beef recall dream. Okay, this was the same video, April the 4th of 2025. Okay, right here. One you may have seen sequence of dreams last night. I had a few dreams last night. There's going to be a mass cow beef recall. I just talked to you guys about that. One of which stated that there's going to be a mass cow beef recall. This is why I sent you guys, or directed you to the way to opt in to get in the information from me where I'm getting my beef. Okay, from a privately sourced. So I would encourage you to just be cautious buying your meat or beef, cow beef, that is. In fact, what's interesting is I was told cow beef in my dream, and I didn't realize that there were other types of beef. And so I actually looked it up, and of course there is other animals that also are considered beef, apparently, bison, and so on and so forth. So that being said, I would assume that it would be, the supermarket type beefs that are going to be recalled. Okay, this is crazy because this is April 4th. This is 1 year and 20 days ago, guys, that I shared this. And I don't know if you heard my last video where I was actually saying the same thing. I mean, just I was reiterating this dream that I shared a year ago. That's fine. But I was talking about how even I believed back then that it was going to be the mass-produced beef. And that's why it's important to try to get your beef privately sourced, okay? That being said, let's listen to the second part of the dream now, because this is what I wanted to share with you, the fulfillment of. You ready? So if you can, the second thing is, I was told in my dream last night that the crypto market would rally. I want you to hear that specific word, because that's exactly what I heard in my dream, that it would rally 30 to 40% this month because of a news event. I forgot about this part. I knew that God had spoken to me and told me that it would rally 30 to 40%. And we saw the fulfillment of that, but I forgot, or I never remembered, that's what I was trying to say, that there was this mention that it would happen because of a news event. And so here's the crazy thing. Remember, this is when I was not logging or recording my prophetic dreams, okay? That's why, one of the reasons why I'm going back and I'm actually watching some of my old videos, and I'm going to take the way I described the dreams, and now I'm going to be putting them in my journal so that I can build this historical account. And I'm actually going to build a website that shows the dreams, shows the prophetic fulfillment, like we're doing on this video. However, watch this. Let me just play that for you real quick, because this is important, okay? Here we go. The second thing is, I was told in my dream last night that the crypto market would rally 30 to 40% this month because of a news event. Because of a news event. Twice I repeated it, because of a news event. Okay. So now I'm going to get to the part where we now look at the charts, guys. Watch this. This is so crazy. So if you go to my handy dandy chart guy here, we can go back to April. In fact, I'm going to have to expand this. March, here we go. May. Okay, here we go, right here. This is the day that I released the dream, April the 4th. Okay, Bitcoin was at 83,000, right? 83 and a half. April the 4th, that was when I released the dream. But then it was continuing this downward trend, and it basically bottomed right here at 77,000. I'm sorry, forgive me. That's where we're at today. 74,000. It bottomed at 74,000. So then I said to myself, okay, because you can clearly see on the charts, I looked at the charts before I searched for the news event. And here's where you would assume it would begin to take off, right here, where it bottomed, and then just kept going up, right? Guess what day that is? April the 9th. So I looked back to see what happened on April the 9th. Was there a news event that occurred on April the 9th of 2025? And lo and behold, here we go. It was the day that Trump paused the tariffs on none other than April the 9th. I searched on Google, what was the day that Trump tariffs were paused in April of 2025? Because I had searched to find out what news event. I did this on my phone. And I said between April the 9th and the end of April, was there a news event that caused crypto to skyrocket? And the AI told me, yes, on April the 9th specifically, actually. And so here you go, April the 9th, 2025, April the 9th, 2025, April the 9th, 2025, April the 9th, 2025. On April the 9th, 2025, look at this. This is the answer that Google gave me when I asked what day were the Trump tariffs paused in April of 2025, and it was on the 9th, just like, and so that is exactly what I'm talking about. But God spoke that on April the 4th of 2025 and said that the crypto markets, wait a minute though, would rally 30 to 40%. Remember this? Let's go back to the charts, ladies and gentlemen, and let's look at the range that they rallied, okay? So here you have a Bitcoin on April the 9th at its bottom. We'll go to the end of April. Whoops, that's May. Sorry. Here's the end of April, wherever that is. Right about, and I got to go further just so I can see my line, but I'm still touching this one right here, which is the 30th. But if I go to the top of it, that is a 28% rally. 28% rally, roughly 30%. But let's go to the coin that obviously we were stewarding back then. And we're going to go to, looks like this is it. No, that's not it. Obviously way behind. Okay, April. This must be it here. April the 9th. That's it right there, April the 9th. So we're going to go until we get to April 30th, which is right here. And I'm going to stretch it to the right so I can just get that line right where I need it. 31%. Okay. But if we go up to the top of where it rallied right here on the 28th of April, it's 38%. So roughly between 30 and 40%, just like God had prophesied on the 4th of April before it began to rally. So I just wanted to share that with you guys because, listen, as I go back and continue to investigate this and continue to really break this down and share with you guys the prophetic fulfillments of these things that God has spoken, I'll even go back and show, the original XRP prophetic dream that he gave me in August of 2024 is telling me XRP was going to take off. And also found a video earlier, and I logged that in my journal as well, where Ryan C. Ryan C. was the one, and I forgot about that. Ryan C. was the one that had told me on November the 14th of 2024. He said, you do realize tomorrow is going to be a week and a half since XRP took off. And you guys remember that whole week and a half reference. Well, I looked at the charts on that day, and it was we were like in fact, let's see, I think we were in the 80-cent range on the charts on November. Let's go take a look because we want to be for real here. It was on November the 14th. Yep, we were basically in the 80-cent range. Okay, between 67 and 84 that day on the 14th. And he told me, he said, you do realize that tomorrow will be the 10th day, which is a week and a half. And I said, here's the deal. I said, if it tops out at 92 cents, then that will be the fulfillment of what God had spoken to me 2 months ago when he gave me that 92-cent dream. And then he also gave me the one with the week and a half, because those two would culminate. Those two would come together. Sure enough, on the 15th, which is right here. Sorry, the 15th is right here. We topped out at 92 cents. Look at it. I just landed right at the top of the candle and look at it. 92 cents. Guys, this is the type of stuff I'm talking about. This is the candle right here, just in case anybody's confused. But I have to move it over to the right of it so that my line I can see my line perfectly sitting right at the top. And then we look at the price, the price point, and it's exactly 92 cents, guys, which is what it topped out that day. To God be the glory, because he had prophesied that. Man, there are so many of these things that God has done. In fact, I was just watching the other video where God had spoken to me, and he showed me on April the 30th of 2025, and he said, he spoke to me and he said that, he showed me in my dream that I sold everything. And then I saw that it would go down and then it would come back up to 250. And remember, I said to the Lord the next day, I'm like, no, I was like, listen, I'm okay with this. I was like, but you didn't show me where to buy in. But remember, I need you to hear this. He showed me that I had sold everything, that it would go down, and that it would come back up to 250. And I said, but Lord, you didn't show me where to buy in. And then the next night I had another dream after that prayer. And that's where the 240 turned into 140. And then we knew, of course, from the first dream that it would go back up to 250. And it was the culmination of those two dreams together that it ended up fulfilling on October the 10th, 5 months later, in a 3-hour window where XRP went from 240 to 140 and then back up to 250, exactly as he showed. Guys, I can't stress to you enough how exciting this journey is. I have to tell you, to God be the glory. But here's the thing. I've just given you, and I'm going back over these, and I'm going to give you more, and I'm going to give you more, and I'm going to give you more. And you're going to see the glory of God in the way that this is, we mentioned in the last video, this is not prediction. This is not using, technical analysis. This is not using, the stars. Okay. We are hearing directly from the Lord Jesus Christ, and you have to come to terms eventually and to say, only God. Only God. To God be the glory. And so I'm going to end this broadcast, but you can see what I'm in the beginning stages of putting together. We're going to have the documented, because they're still out there. All these videos, I just played it for you. These videos are still out there of me releasing the word of the Lord. And then we get to look at the charts and the news, the historical account of what actually occurred. But I forgot that God had spoken that it would be because of a news event that it would rally in April of 2025. And I totally forgot about that. We saw the rally. I knew it was 30 to 40%. But I forgot about the whole news event. This is why it's important for me personally to record these prophetic dreams, because I don't want to miss those details anymore. It just continues to bring the validity, the authenticity, the accuracy, and the glory of God in the details. To God be the glory. Thanks for joining me tonight, guys. I'm going to jump off. Don't forget, if you want to join my private community, the link's in the description section below. That's where we're following the prophetic price points of the Lord. I'm not a financial advisor. I do not encourage people to invest specifically because I have a dream about it. You have to know how to steward the prophetic, and you have to know the risk, and so on and so forth. This has to be your faith, your prayerful consideration, and you hearing directly from God for yourself on whatever you should do, whether it be listen to another guy who claims to hear voices or whatever. That's all the freedom we have, obviously, to operate in our faith. So anyway, God bless you guys. Thanks so much. Don't forget, I'm not a financial advisor. As I mentioned, I'm my DeFi guru, nobody else's. Take care.